appreciate you, Zoom. Aren't these videos wonderful? And I also hope, because I love video and I'm trying to get into the new thing, but I also hope, because I'm an old print guy, that you'll take some time to read the wonderful profiles that were written about each of the inductees tonight. And they were written, some of them by Hall of Fame journalists or some that will be, and they were just some outstanding, another look from the print point of view at their lives. So if you got, can you take just one more? Right now, are you still hanging in there? Good. Yes. Because tonight we are honoring a quarter of a millennium of experience. For those journalists who struggle with math, that's 250 years, or almost as long as Dick Figler's career. And it's been such, for me, this thing called journalism, I've been at it for 40 years, and I always said, who would you compare yourself with? Your career, you think about it, you start looking back, as Vern said, you look back at all the things you've done, and who would you compare yourself with? And I was going over a lot of people, so many people who influenced me, but I was thinking one person who sort of similarities. And, well, unfortunately, he couldn't be here tonight. But I wanted Jimmy DeMora to be represented by this empty chair. His spirit. And Mr. Chair, you don't know how lucky you are. Only spirit is represented tonight. But you think that's an odd comparison. But like our former convicted commissioner, I don't think I did anything to deserve this. But I sure had a lot of fun getting here. What's that, Jim? Blame everybody else, right? That's true. It's everybody else's fault. I'm only here tonight because of what so many of you have done. I certainly wouldn't be here without the writing and reporting of some of those already in the hall. Connie Schultz, Tom Farron, Joanna Connors, Regina Brett, Bob Painter, and former Chuck Heaton winner Margaret Bernstein. And some of the other reporters I've worked with tonight, Chris Evans, Olivera Perkins, Karen Long, who've just done such great work that made me look good. I know I wouldn't be up here 30 years ago, the editor of the Akron Beacon Journal, Dale Allen, who's here with his wife, Mickey, tonight. He told a young sports editor if he was ever going to be a real journalist, he needed to get out of sports. He was right. Of course, now I look at some of my contemporaries then, like Woody Page and Skip Bayless, making lots and lots of money, screaming at each other at ESPN. And I'm glad I stayed and became a journalist instead. I want to thank one of my other former colleagues from Akron, Susan Mango Curtis, who's now a professor at Northwestern, is here tonight. And she taught me really the power of visuals in journalism. Like I said, I was always from the print side, but I learned to make things look good. And I also want to I need to thank one of my fellow inductees, Ted Dialen, who had the courage to hire me in Cleveland 14 years ago, and some things that were not very nice and also were not true were being said about me, and I appreciate you giving me a chance, Ted. I want to thank my friends from Gasoline Alley in Bath, Alex Kirkian and their family. They've supported me through the years. When I was writing 5 columns a week, when I was in Akron, which is like more than Connie and Regina right together, I was writing 5 columns a week, and the material sometimes would run dry. But whenever I needed a story, Big Al was happy to make one up for me. I also want to thank my longtime friend, Ron Syroyd, who's the former president of the Akron Press Club. He's been a good friend of the Cleveland Press Club. He's recuperating in the hospital tonight after surgery, and I know we all want to wish him well, all the people in the Press Club who've worked with him. Oh, Yeah, Jimmy, I know. Don't forget to mention the family. The family's always good for sympathy. My two oldest daughters, who have given me 4 beautiful grandchildren, live way out west and couldn't be here. But my 85-year-old Kentucky mother, Thelma Peach, who still has the high average in her bowling league, she made the trip up from the north, up north. She raised 3 children as a single mom after my father died 50 years ago, and I could never thank her enough for that. I'm also only the 3rd highest paid journalist in my house. My youngest daughter, Denise, who's here, is an online editor for Time Inc. and Entertainment Weekly. I tried to discourage her from going into journalism, but I'm proud of the work she does, even though she made it to Manhattan, the old man didn't. And I can say with great certainty that I'm no better than the 2nd best journalist in my home. Because my bride of 30 years, Debbie Van Tassel, is not only my partner and my best friend, she's the best journalist I know, and I know I wouldn't be here without her. We worked together on both Pulitzer projects in Akron. It was her idea to turn the Goodyear takeover attempt into a narrative, which led us to winning the prize. And when we were working on the race project, she insisted that it was not enough just to tell the people that there was a problem. We had to show readers they could do something about it. The men in the room sort of balked at that, saying, that's not our job. At that point, she and Mango and the other women on the team turned around and walked out of the room, just left us standing there. Fortunately, a couple of days later, or in a Solomon-like decision, Dale decided there would be a second part of a question of color called Coming Together, where we literally formed an organization that worked with race relations in Akron for the next 15 years, and that also helped us win the Pulitzer Gold Medal. So, to you, Debbie, you're the best. I love you. Thank you. Finally, and I know you love to hear that word, finally, I have something else in common with our empty chair. I learned to be lazy. There was a time I used to think, as an editor, that I had to do it all. I put in 14-hour days. I was certain that only I could make every story better. It wasn't until that schedule literally almost killed me that I began to understand that I had to trust the talented people who work with me. If I rewrote their stories, that only made me a better writer. If I made them rewrite the stories, they got better, the stories got better, and I got it home in time for dinner. I also learned to stop telling them what I thought the story was about before they had even reported it. I learned to let them report, tell me, and then tell the readers a story. And because I quit trying to do all the work myself, I actually had more time to talk with them, to help them fully utilize their skills that were most often far superior to mine. What's that, Jimmy? Say goodnight, Warren. Okay, I will. But just one more thing. Jimmy, I want to thank you. I walked out, left the Plain Dealer newsroom 4 years ago, left print journalism, and there are a lot of scary things happening out there to the business that I've loved so much. There's also a lot of exciting things, but there's a lot of scary things for many of us. But Jimmy, as long as there are people like you who are willing to corrupt the system for their own personal gain, there's always going to be a need for journalists like the people we're honoring here tonight.